Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Got a cast on the cards for you guys today. This is I think it's my first video. I've pulled a couple of videos lately, but I think this is the first video I'm releasing from the new house. Got an open area here, so I did a check and it sounded like didn't sound like there was a whole lot of reverb, so hopefully it'll be good. But I'll go ahead and I haven't done sound treatment in here yet, so apologies for that. But let's get into it. We have a cast 4v4. This is on the Neuroxis map generator. So this thing randomly generates a map every time. I really like these because they introduce a newer kind of game style where, it's not necessarily like Settins where the center player always goes to the middle, reclaims as much mass, air player rushes ASF, and tries to build as many of them as possible. While those games are super fun to cast and can always end up being really crazy, these kinds of games can also be really fun because there is no set build order for this map. So anyway, the game's kind of kicked off. Let's go ahead and introduce the players. So we got team 1 up here at the top, team 2 down here at the bottom. We'll start, if there is such a thing as rearguard air position on this map. We have Zopak Niger. Not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. We're going to call him Zopak. I'm sure that means something in a language that I don't speak. To his south, we have 2 other players relatively close together. We have Signal 2. He is going Seraphim, opening first land. Incidentally, Zopak is going UEF, opening first land. Immediately to his west, we have Sergeant Syphilis. We call him Sarge on this channel. I've actually seen him a couple of other times, maybe one other time I know I've casted him before. He's going UEF, going first and second land. And then lastly, for team number 1, we have Comrade Striker going UEF, going first land, getting some energy infrastructure online. And let's move down to team number 2, starting with the northernmost position. We have, there's his commander, Chosen second. He's going Aeon. Open first land, beautiful purple on the Aeon, by the way. To his west and kind of south, we have Fong's starting position. He is already moving out to the middle, reclaiming some of these civilian structures to get a little bit of a leg up in the early mass game. All the way to the south, we have Eon Fighter going Seraphim, opening first land. It looks like he's going second air, so Eon Fighter as well as Fong look like they're going to be handling the airplay for Team 2. And last but definitely not least, we have Mellow going yellow. Mellow yellow. He is going Aeon, first and second land. Commander already hit it out to the middle. Initial groups of labs are tangling here. These guys just kind of jockeying for ideal position here in the middle. We had Sarge looking to pick off a couple of engineers, maybe on a reclaim mission. It does look like there's a lot of mass on this map. While they're not really in clumps, they're pretty well spread out. It does look like there's a good number of them. Looking at reclaim, it does look like there's little craters and kind of spatterings of reclaim across the map. So should be a pretty good game. I usually like to cast. Or I really enjoy playing with Fong, actually. I started that sentence like 4 times, but he's first off, he's a pretty good player, ranked at 1400, but he's also very welcoming for newer players. So, letting Comrade Striker here at 400, get on the mix and learn how to play, with potentially people who have a little bit more seasoning and experience. Always really like that. It's kind of what I think that every Supreme Commander player should aspire to be, in kind of these open, all-welcome maps. Or all welcome matches. Scouts going across from Eon Fighter. We also have a Sinva. I think that's how you pronounce it. Seraphim T1 Bomber. He does have some land forces here in the middle. Looks like 4 Thams as well as a Selen. And as players move out to the middle, we have Comrade Striker setting up his forward manufacturing. Both the other players on the southern side of Team 1's little cluster already relatively far forward, so we'll see if they feel it necessary to set up a whole lot of forward production or if they just keep it centralized within their base. A little wraparound here from Zopak. So Zopak going for gun damage, so it does not look like he is going to be sitting back and ecoing this game. He's looking to get into it here. Only just now queuing up his air factory, so definitely going to be getting into it with his commander, and we do see a good amount of land forces actually being spammed out as well. So not going to be kind of your traditional air player that doesn't really build any ground support and just rushes for T3 air. he's definitely looking to help out his team in kind of all aspects of the game. I'm actually just now realizing I don't think that this is this symmetrical? I guess it's symmetrical. These two guys look further away from Zopak than these guys are from Eon Fighter. It's kind of interesting. So it's a little bit of an asymmetrical map as well, which is always fun. I wonder if that's a setting that you can do in this mod. Strikers from Zopak have found some of Chosen Second's engineers looking to try and get an eruptor up here to defend themselves, but aren't going to be able to. And this little expansion area is going to be reclaimed for Zopak. Fong sending in a series of Mantis as well as a couple of moles to hopefully mitigate some of this damage from Zopak. And on the other side of the map, we have just about the exact same thing being done by Mello to Signal 2. So same tune, different side of the map. Trying to sneak by some Aeon tanks. And these guys end up closing with Sarge's Vanguard. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anywhere. We have Eon Fighters T1 units coming in to help as well. This is a pretty good size little group of spam. I mean, it does look like Zopak is able to hold on to this little expansion point. And Mello has actually moved his Mellow Yellow comm up there as well. So really kind of the dividing line is going to be here, whereas I thought it was going to be more like here, which is kind of interesting. So it's going to be a more east-west line of defense and attack. Looking at things from an eco perspective, it looks like Team 2 is generating a good amount more mass, about 30%, 40%, depending on how much reclaim. But these guys are in lockstep with total mass reclaim, only being a couple hundred mass actually separating the two of them. Moving in, we have a standoff here between Fong and Comrade Striker. Fong getting crazy here with this comm. And here we see Zopak's comm moving out to help, which is good to see as well. And Zopak is getting into the air game as well, so got some interceptors on the field. It looks like air control is going to be actually with Team 2 right now, with Eon Fighter as well as Mello getting into the air game as well. So Team 2 really sharing kind of all responsibility for the various theaters and not doing as much specialization, with really everybody doing both land and air commitments. Everybody making commitments to both the land and air field of battle. Fong is now on the retreat. We have Zopak and Comrade Striker, 2 comms versus 1. Never something that you really want to, never a situation you want to find yourself in. We have Mello's Vanguard over there. Is a lot more now of these Auroras. And these guys should be able to kite the Strikers from range. That is until this Triad ends up coming up. And we'll start taking down some of these Auroras. That's range. Signal's comm is not too far out of the vicinity either, but I think there's going to be a little bit more action going on up here. So we have a Zephamp Zopak comm versus Fong's as of yet unupgraded comm. We do have Chosen coming in to help as well. Chosen bringing in some of his spam, and Zopak is really committing pretty heavy for this. Comrade Striker's a little bit too far back, I think, to help. But if Team 2's commanders end up pursuing, Striker could get in there and start striking. Looks like he does, so these guys kind of switch positions. We have Zopak end up falling back, Fong and Chosen second, able to drive them off. Good amount of spam here, though. I think that they can take this. And yep, there go the attack pings. Auroras end up focusing down, so Zopak on about 5.5k HP, does still have that Zephamp. Wow, Comrade Striker actually building buildings to try and block some of this incoming fire. Obviously has seen a video somewhere. I don't have the presence of mind to do that. I know I am the gold standard whenever it comes to players. Totally kidding. But Zopak really not looking too healthy here. Should probably think about backing up. But he is got titanium testicles on him. And we have more commitment, so Mello actually moving in as well. Mantis getting blapped by the Zephamp comm. And Fong is now on his lonesome here. Oh wait, Chosen second. His commander is hiding right there. So we'll see if they're able to actually score the scalp this time. Mantis lock in, Medusa shells start falling. I think they might have him here. Fong just needs to commit. Spam ends up getting brought in. Might cause Fong to second guess himself, as well as that rank-in veterancy that Zopak just got. But Zopak goes back in again, playing with fire here, or lasers, giant balls of plasma, whatever that is that he's shooting. And I've just been like zeroed in on this kind of dance because I'm like almost positive that somebody dies here, right? There's no way that nobody dies here. All right, bomber in over the top of the Eon fighter. Spam gets redirected from Chosen second once again. Fong is moving in and committing again. And down into the red. So these guys, Fong cannot tank that Zephamp. Zephamp doing a lot more damage than a regular commander. We'll put a bow on that for now, or put a tack in that pin on that. Put something in there to hold that there, and address Mello with his double upgraded comm. Signal as yet unupgraded, so kind of a similar situation happening down here on the southern side, where we have a gun upgraded comm versus an unupgraded comm, and that's where we see Sarge end up going for a damage and range upgrade, so also getting Zephamp to respond to that. Zooming out and looking at kind of what the state of the whole battlefield is. See, Comrade Striker has just completely disengaged from the front line. As of yet unupgraded, but Zopak is still playing with fire here on the front line, just really trying to, I think he's just trying to irritate Fong and Chosen second at this point. Gun damage and range now coming in for Sarge, and a little bit of an encircling maneuver here being attempted on Mello. With an upgraded comm though and all of these units that he has nearby, I don't think there's going to get a whole lot done. Zui's the commander doing the dance of the Neuroxus to try and avoid or just eat all of the Zui fire. Moving up here at the top. Oh, okay, so here we got blazes. Now we have a good tech mismatch. Fong brings in. This should be curtains for Zopak. Zopak is out of there. As we see the beautiful mushroom cloud bloom into the sky. Everybody's calling GG. Full share does appear to be on, so I guess a bunch of fairies are dying, as Guile would say. Looking at Sarge sporting his gun upgrade and a T2 upgrade. Got a bank of Triad point defense down here. And we have a signal on the run from Blazes. Hopefully not going to be suffering the same fate of his teammate up on the northern side of the map there. But as of yet, it is a 4 versus 3. So really, there's just a lot of poking and prodding going across the map. Let's see where we are from a tech standpoint. We've got T1 land and air. Yep, T2 air from Eon Fighter. Fong appears to be up to T2 land and T1 air. Mello, T2 land. We saw the blazes earlier. We also have T2 land coming out from Chosen. So Chosen, all of Team 2, relatively well upgraded, and they're really beginning to push this advantage and starting to knock on Sarge's doorstep here. Gunships dispatched from Signal. will be looking to respond here. And we do have pillars out from Comrade Striker as well, so electing to forsake his namesake and not commit to the Strikers, but instead going to be going with the flashier and more upgraded, newer models of pillars. Don't you hate it when that happens? Somebody gives you somebody buys your car, somebody buys you, and then they just trade you in for a newer model. Doesn't that make you feel bad? Well, that's what Striker did to his Strikers. He bought pillars instead. Pillars are arguably more solid though than Strikers. Whenever I think of a Striker, I don't really think of something structurally with a great deal of structural integrity. I think of something that dies relatively quickly whenever it's outmatched from a tech perspective. So these blazes from Chosen second really starting to cause a problem here for Comrade Striker. Now we have a similar push down here from Fong. Well, not a similar push, but a kind of irritating push from Fong down here in the bottom as well. Gunships as well coming out from Fong. So just being all sorts of irritating to our northern UEF player. And these blazes should be able to get in there and do some damage. Uh-oh. Mellow, though. He is a long way from home, my friend. There are a lot of bad guys around here. He just took a wrong turn, went into a bad neighborhood. We got Stingers. Yes. Stingers coming in over the top. And Mellow, I think, will be our next player to eject, as they throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at him. Mellow gets defeated by Signal 2. Meanwhile, back up here, our little Blaze raiding party, as well as Jesters, causing some problems here for Comrade Striker. Does have a bank of point defenses that he can fall back on, but they're only T1 point defenses. Nothing too solid in this Chosen Fong coalition here. We're doing some pretty, I guess, looking to sweep down here and take out these forward manufacturing facilities for Signal, as they pick up a hydrocarbon plant, as well as a T1 land factory. Janus going over the top. Just a wave of fire. Every time I see the Janus drop its bombs, I'm reminded of the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. If you guys haven't seen it, great movie. Anyway, you'll just watch the movie. You'll know why it reminds me of that whenever you see it. So this same little group of blazes and then Fong's T1 units are now starting to penetrate deeper into Team 1's territory and decide better of it, and do a 180 and head out as they see pillars being dispatched from Sarge, as well as pillars from Comrade Striker. So Team 1 has really been kind of pinned into this little area. Well, I say that with one exception. It looks like Sarge has broken loose here. Deployed a relatively sizable land force down here. His comm is down here as well, so now instead of being aligned this way, it looks like they're more aligned with a north-south line. So lines of battle always being redrawn. Just zooming out, taking a little breather here, taking a look at the whole battlefield. Let's take a look at our eco. So we got Team 2 not running away with it, but 5k more mass in the bank. From a mass perspective, ship leader looks to be Signal right now as far as most mass, or Chosen second. Yeah, Signal seems to be bumping around a good amount. As far as most mass acquired, though, that's going to be Sarge, sitting at 37k, so really pulling in a lot of juice for his team, mass side of things, and a lot of that's from Reclaim. While he's not doing terrible on the mass extractor front, definitely prioritizing Reclaim over potentially upgrading additional mass extractors. Then we have Comrade Striker going for the shoulder drone, actually. This thing has really irritated me sometimes within ladder matches. the little drone. I had one opponent that literally rushed it and then like reclaimed all of my perimeter mexes. Super triggering. Easily counterable, but really, real triggering. Let's see if that's kind of his plan, is to go and reclaim everybody's bases. Down at the bottom, we do have Chosen second, though. Deploying a... What's the word I'm looking for? Discouraging force? A force of... He's deploying troops just in case. We'll go with that. Rusty, haven't casted a game in a little bit. He's deployed a number of troops here, and we do have Nathas coming in. So it looks like there was an attempted Natha snipe, but both Signal 2 as well as Sarge here unscathed. Looks like Signal has got one of these mods for his ACU. It says ACU is called Captain Clap. Kind of funny name. Natha is as of yet unsuccessful. We do have an air cleaner being built as well, so really any more attempted fighter bomber nastiness is going to be mitigated. Oh, hello. Up at the top, blazes have broken through. They're currently being encircled by Signal's T1 spam. They're really just Zooies down here at the bottom. And gonna take out a couple of mass extractors. We do have Janus coming in over the top from Signal, trying to help, but doing more harm than good, taking out half of Comrade Striker's power grid in the process. Ilshivas and Rhinos, all the fun T2 toys now fully deployed for both teams. These Rhinos, Ilshivas are strong, but there are more Rhinos. Pillars end up getting dispatched as well, and Comrade Striker's just had a problem. I think had trouble getting his feet under him here. Now going for a nano repair upgrade, so I guess looking to get a little bit more combative with his commander over the future. Gun speed and range now coming in for Captain Clap himself. So these guys will have matching upgrades, sort of matching, same purpose, different application. We do have, looks like, mobile tactical missile launchers. Was this forward Magno, and this little Viper is got 4 ranks of veterancy and 8 kills, so he's having a grand old time here, just shooting missiles up over this cliff and hiding from view. Gotta be wondering, this pillar's going on patrol here. They're like, "You seen Steve? I could have sworn Steve was like right behind us." And Steve's like a wreck back over here. Field upgrade as well coming in for Comrade Striker. Air control seems to be very firmly, though, in Team 2's control, with I don't think any interceptors on the field right now. Or I take that back, Sarge has got a couple here. But no other interceptors to speak. Lots of ground-based AA, which is going to be important. Got a good number of Nathas here. It looks like these Nathas are positioning for a snipe attempt. We got Sarge with T2, Captain Clap unupgraded, so the Nathas would be probably best utilized. Are they going to drop their bombs? Or are they just going to die? Only a couple of them getting their payloads off. These guys start dancing, trying to avoid the incoming fire. And I don't think that snipe is going to be successful. Looked like the first couple of bombers actually didn't drop their payloads. One of them decided to try and go for Sergeant Syphilis instead of Signal 2, so he could have probably committed a little bit better. Just picked one target and stuck with it. But let's look at where we sit from a tech perspective. So T2 air and still T1 land for Eon Fighter. And we're up to T3 for Fong. Looks like we got a couple of engineers out here reclaiming old infrastructure that is no longer needed. And mass extractor's paused. I need to try out this the mod that kind of auto upgrades your mass extraction points. It'd be better. I think it'd be good because I tend to forget a lot of times to keep upgrading my mass points after I'm get to Tech 2. It can't come back to bite you because you can find yourself wishing that you hadn't. You have a T2 or a mech's upgrading to T2 and then it hamstrings your entire economy. But Team 1 has had enough of this. So we've got Thams, we got Zooies coming in from the back, we've got pillars, skyboxers, everything coming crashing down on this forward fire base here for Fong. No point defense deployed. There's a burst master back here. And these specters are going to get shredded by the skyboxers. Absolutely shreked. We have Oblivions getting thrown down by Chosen second. That'll definitely help. These pillars, I think, could commit here. Little air entanglements over the top. These interceptors decide to nope it on out of there. Probably not realizing that there was a flak right there. And this little Oblivion turret is the hero. Single-handedly killing about half of these pillars. And the fire base remains unscathed. Or not unscathed, but unbroken. There's a tactical missile launcher in here that's got 7 kills to its name. 3 ranks of vet. And holy Zooey. There's a lot of Zooies. So, Signal has decided, nope, not going to mess with that anymore. We're just going to run right on past it this time. We have a lot of land factories. We've got like, it looks like he's only got like a handful of Seraphim land factories. He seems to be, oh, okay, here we go. There's a little bank right there that's supplying a lot of this. These guys are going to run into Fong's T2 forces, which are heavily outnumbered but vastly better equipped. As long as they can dodge the Zooey fire. There are some Ilshivas here though in the mix. And they are in numbers. So well equipped to take down these rhinos. Breakout. So Fong is no longer only making T3 engineers and has deployed a brick. And this is, one brick is not going to stop this. I mean, this is like the Mississippi River. And you take like the Mississippi River and then you literally just put a single brick in the river. It's not going to dam the river. It might come as a huge surprise to you guys. I was shocked whenever my wife told me that you couldn't dam the Mississippi with only 1 brick. But it's true story. True story. What it can do though is it can stay at range and become real irritating. And second one getting dispatched to help out as well. But this tide is as yet unstemmed. Brick is going to lose his life, get ground into pieces by the Ilshivas and the alien powers. Little air engagement over here as well. ASFs are out for Fong. And now we have mass T1 bomber response from Eon Fighter. So these guys, if deployed correctly, should do some pretty serious work taking down this mess of Zooies. I don't see any ISLs in the mix here, so these land units undefended against the bombers that are raining on their heads. Also have whalers out as well, so Fong is T3 in both the air and the land side of the house. We're starting to see a shift where Team 2 was basically knocking on Team 1's doorstep, and with kind of this Herculean push from Signal, we've seen Team 2 get really pushed back until it's kind of, they're back on their doorstep now. ASF's out from Signal. There is only one ASF though, so he's got a lot of bombers that he's got to get through, and it looks like the bricks combined with the T1 bombers from Eon Fighter will be able to do the job and knock out the rest of these Zuis. Huge amounts of reclaim though just got deposited on T2's doorstep. There's kind of this trail of wreckages all the way up to Chosen Second's base. And where are we at with ASFs? So we've got 3 from Signal right now. I think Fong is the one with ASFs, so he's got more. I think he's got 4. Okay, so very slight edge from the T3 air side of the house, but you know, of course, with air, comes down to micro as well. More T1 units getting dispatched over on this side. We got a whaler responding. A whaler is whaling away. T1 bombers redirected now, and Signal is just taking the if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and spammed up a ton of T1 factories, all of which I believe are producing Zuis. Just looking to overwhelm Team 2 with numbers. Taking the classic Persians at Thermopylae and in the wars against the Greeks strategy. Didn't work out super well for the Persians. Let's hopefully, well, not hopefully, unbiased caster, but it may work better here in this instance because this is a fictional video game. Alrighty, Brick doing a little dance here to try and avoid all this Zui fire, and actually doing a pretty good job. Fong putting in a good amount of time trying to micro this. Got whalers up here as well, getting harassed by T1 interceptors, what's left over of Sarge's Air Force. Meanwhile, strategic bomber out. So Revenant is out now for Fong, looking to take that air advantage and really put it into, turn it into some comm kills here. Potentially going to be sniping. Is there a lot of AA here? There's an air cleaner, but no SAMs, I don't think. That air cleaner has definitely cleaned the air around it. I'm out of practice on casting. My voice gets tired real quick now. Anyway, these bricks get surrounded. There are Othams here, so there's not as much of a tech mismatch, even though a brick will take down an Otham in a one-on-one engagement. It does have the support of a ton of Zuis. Oh, and Chosen Second gets defeated by a Control K? I am not sure. So it looks like he was trying to get he was trying to airlift his comm up there. It looked like he was trying to establish a little proxy base up there. Not going to be successful. Looks like they picked up on his transport and were able to shoot it down. That leaves us in a 2v3 situation with Fong and Eon Fighter, the 2 remaining representatives of Team 2. All of Chosen Second's infrastructure getting transitioned over to Eon Fighter, who does give some of it, I think, to Fong to give him a little leg up. Because what are friends for, right? To give you a mass extractor when you need it. From an eco perspective, Team 2 still doing a pretty good job keeping up. Eon Fighter is our chip leader now, at 151 mass per tick. With the Signal bouncing around all over the place still because he's reclaiming a ton. Got a lot of brick wrecks and his own wrecks and things like that that he can be picking up and taking advantage of. ASF's tangle over the top. Still got this huge amount of Zooies. Oh, and this push looks like it's going to get something done here. Percivals, Titans, Pillars, Zooies, all of which going to be overwhelming this southern position, formerly Mellow Yellow's base. These Percivals and Titans will get in here and cause all sorts of problems, doing some pretty serious damage to Team 2's infrastructure in this particular area of the map. At the same time, we've got Eon Fighter coming in and trying to do a flank attack. Oh, and we got strategic bombers taking out Signal from Eon Fighter. So that snipe went much better than his previous snipe. Everything transitions over to Sarge's control. Sarge is just going to take these guys and walk them straight in. Revenant coming in over the top. There is a Skyboxer in the mix, but Black doesn't do great against strategic bombers. You do better with some Cougars. Now we get the Titans and the Percivals getting to the door. There is nothing here in Aeon Fighter's base to stop them. We do have a Whaler from Fong that is looking to help mitigate some of the damage. Tons of point defense being spammed up now, but Eon Fighter's about to lose his primary power grid here. One more shot from one of these Percivals. Gonna take out number 1. Number 2 is, I think, uncompleted, but that's gonna be going down. Number 3 goes down. And that's gonna be, that's some damage. That's some damage right there. Meanwhile, in the middle, we've taken the Zooey army from Signal, been transferred over to Sarge. Sarge is going to come in and run that straight down these Oblivion turrets' throats. We'll end up overwhelming the slower high alpha strike point defense. Meanwhile, down here, strategic bombers are doing more damage to their own bases than they are to the enemy. We do have some Volthus, a couple Whalers in here, but this is going to be, I think, too much damage for Team 2 to recover from at this point in time. They lock in on Fong's commander, trying to get his gun upgrade. That is not going to happen, Sa. And I'm not actually sure where Eon Fighter's commander is. Probably nearby. There he is. So Eon Fighter dancing, trying to avoid the Zooey fire. Just take as many bad guys as can with him. Nice little strategic bomber drop there. And taking out some Percivals. He might, no, he's not making it out of this. 200 HP. That last shot from the Percival is gonna do it. Alrighty. Good game, guys. Desync detected. We don't care. That's fine. Great game. Good amount of back and forth. I felt like everybody played relatively well, including Comrade Striker, even though he abandoned his namesake and decided to go for Pillars instead. You know, can't fault him for wanting the shiny new model of car. But we'll go ahead and wrap it there for today, guys. If you guys have replays that you guys would like me to cast, go ahead and send them my way. You can reach out to me on Discord. That's the ideal way to do it. I think in the past I've taken submissions on the FAF client as well as in the comments section down below. Discord is going to be ideal just because the comments both, I don't have to go searching through hundreds of comments to find replay IDs if I forget to copy it down to my list. and it also doesn't get erased like the FAF chat does. Whenever I close out the FAF client, it erases all chats, which is a bummer limitation kind of on the software, but it is what it is. That being said, I know that some people have tried to reach out to me on the FAF client and it froze up on me. So if I didn't respond, it's not because I don't like you. It's because I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. It just means that my client bugged out on me. So go ahead and resend me any replay submissions if I haven't gotten around to them yet. I think that's about it. Oh, last thing to go over. I'm going to be switching for the time being. We just got a puppy, moved into a new house. Puppy's like having a kid, I think. Don't have a kid yet, but I think a puppy is very similar to having a kid, where I have to get up like all the time in the middle of the night to take her out. She is super cute, but she takes a lot of time and a lot of attention. So over the next probably a couple months or so, I'm going to be reducing my upload cycle. I'm going to be trying to focus on casts and science videos and not doing a point of view replays. Reason for that is just going to be because I don't really have time to play, and the games that I have played have not been good. I'm really rusty, and so until I get back into it, I'm going to put a hold on that particular content. But casting and science videos will still be trying to upload one of those every week. I think that's about all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, for those of you guys who are still here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.